Conjuring Last Rites. On September 5th.
Hey, come down here! I need your help! Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
The Conjuring Last Rites. Only in theaters September 5th. Rated R.
We
are
Cultivate.
cultivate.
We are Cultivate.
Hello and welcome to Yield Crime, where we discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear. I'm your host, Lindsay Valenti, and with me is my sister and co-host, Maddie Savage.
Hello.
Hi.
It's feeling more natural.
I almost screwed it up again, but I caught myself.
I know. It sounds better in my head now.
Yeah. All right. It is a new month, which means that it is time for us to thank our lovely Buy Me a Coffee sustainers.
Yay!
So thank you to Charlie, Elizabeth, Sarah, Cheryl, Mariam, and June.
Wow, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for loving our little podcast enough to support us.
Yeah,
It means a lot.
That's really nice. It does.
Okay, today's episode, I'm pretty sure, was requested by my friend Dustin over at Sandman Stories Presents. But when I looked at it in my master spreadsheet, it had originally disappeared. But I was going back, so I was looking through the different emails full of research that Kirianne had sent me. And then I saw it, and I was like, that's right. Why is it not on the spreadsheet? So I added it back in.
Nice. It's so nice it was on the spreadsheet twice.
Yes. It disappeared. It took a little hiatus, but it came back.
Hey, we let it go and it loved us enough. That's all that matters.
To find its way back to me.
It found its way back.
So today, we are going to be discussing Charles Giffen Pease.
Does ring a bell.
That's good. That's good. I didn't know who he was prior to this episode either.
Nice.
Information was pulled from the following sources: a 1941 United States Tobacco Journal article.
Nice.
1928 Brooklyn Eagle article. 1928 Evening Express article. 1915 The Los Angeles Times article. 1915 Morning Tribune article by Grace Wilcox. 1915 New York Tribune article. 1915 The Winchester Sun article. 1913 The Evening World article by Nixola Greeley Smith. 1911 Brooklyn Eagle article. 1907 The New York Times article. 1905 Press and Sun Bulletin article. 1904 The Boston Globe article. 1904 The Sun article. 3 Find a Grave listings. Landmark West article, and Wikipedia.
Dang. That's a lot of news articles.
Mm-hmm.
That's a span of time, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you to Kirianne for her research assistance on this episode, and links to all of these articles will be included in the show notes. If you love the show, the best way to support us is to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Good Pods, CastBox, Podcast Addict, and or Audible. Links to all of these are in our show notes, or if you're already listening on one of these platforms, you know what to do.
Oh, and while you're at it, shoot us a question you'd like to hear us answer on the pod. We'll give you a special shout out and address your burning questions all at the same time. The weirder, the better. Submit them via link in our show notes or shoot them to us in our DMs.
Strap in, because this tale involves obscene letters, courtroom drama, and a man who just couldn't help himself.
Right.
Yeah, we're off to a great start.
Mm.
Charles Giffen Pease was born on December 4th, 1854, in Manhattan, New York, to parents Joseph Mott and Eliza Ann Giffen Pease. His family was respectable and lived in Manhattan. Growing up, Charles attended the Friends Seminary in New York City and the Sanford and Shaw School at Redding Ridge in Connecticut.
Mm.
Charles married his first wife, Clara Estelle, in June of 1881 in New York City. She was born on October 11th, 1854, making her just a few months younger than her husband.
Nice.
Unfortunately, she passed away just a few years after their marriage on July 22nd, 1883.
Mm.
She was 28 at the time of her death and is buried at St. Paul's Church Cemetery in Mount Vernon, New York. I didn't know what she died of. It didn't say on her find a grave.
Okay.
Charles pursued a career in dentistry, first attending the New York Dental College before transferring to the Philadelphia Dental College, where he earned his DDS degree in 1890.
Good for him.
Yeah. He continued his education in dentistry at the Medico-Chirurgical College of Philadelphia, as well as the New York Homeopathic Medical College and Flower Hospital, where he earned his MD in 1891.
I don't like that as much.
Yeah, that'll come back.
I don't like that. And it also is, I mean, it's kind of weird that it took him 2 different schools to become a dentist too. I mean, I know you can move and that's a natural thing, but like, why'd you transfer?
I wonder if it happened after his wife passed, because I don't have.
The dates.
Yeah, because
Oh, so
he earned his MD in 1891 and she passed in 1883. So it's entirely possible that he moved to try and, start fresh.
Yeah.
Charles began his dental practice in 1890 and served as a medical consultant in New York from 1891 all the way up until 1933.
Dang.
Throughout that time, he spent the years of 1894 to 1897 as a professor of oral surgery at the Metropolitan Postgraduate School of Medicine. At the same time, he served as professor of Materia Medica, Therapeutics and Pathology at the New York Dental School between 1895 and 1897.
He's a busy bee.
He was. Charles worked as both a dentist and a doctor in New York City and lived in an apartment on 72nd Street and Columbus Avenue in the city. He also owned a second property at Mamakating Park, New York. It was the Sunset Lodge.
Ooh. I mean, if he's a dentist and a doctor and he doesn't have a second home that's like a nice vacation home, what's he doing?
What's he doing?
What's he doing?
Charles married his second wife, Mary Lenora, on June 1st, 1901, in New York City. Originally from Montgomery, Alabama, where she was born on September 18th, 1875, Mary was 26 at the time of her marriage, while Charles was 47.
Yeah, got that.
Yeah. Mary, too, passed away early on February 22nd, 1904. Oddly enough, both of Charles's wives were 28 at the time that they died. Mary is also buried at St. Paul's Church Cemetery in Mount Vernon, New York.
Don't like that.
It didn't have the plot information, or at least if it did, I wasn't paying enough attention. I hope they're not buried like next to each other.
He's like, can I get a discount?
Awkward.
You ladies have a lot to discuss.
Yeah. You'll get along great.
Gross.
At some point in his career, he became a member of the Institute of Homeopathy, County of New York Homeopathic Medical Society, Public Good Society, as well as the Auxiliary League of the Salvation Army. of which he was a member until his death. He would also join the New York Vegetarian Society, but again, I'm not sure at what point. Now, up to this point, Charles seems normal, except for his bad luck with the ladies.
Hmm.
And it's now that things are gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
So remember how we've discussed the Comstock Act of 1873 in the past?
Yeah.
For those who didn't hear our episode about Madame Lastel, here's a refresher on what the Comstock Act was. It was a number of laws that prohibited sending quote-unquote obscene materials in the mail, primarily anything having to do with contraception or abortion.
Mm-hmm.
These included quote-unquote indecent writings, pictures, and publications, such as ones designed to prevent conception or that shared how to procure an abortion. This law was heavily enforced until around the 1930s, when it was viewed as outdated.
It took until 1930 for it to be outdated.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, because in the Roaring 20s, stuff went around.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. Charles took up writing, and though this next little bit won't make sense at first, we need it for context because it becomes important later on. So it's going to sound kind of random, and then you'll be like, oh.
Foreshadowing. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He originally attended the First Church of Christ Scientist, but would go on to leave the religion, stating that it was, quote, a fabric of deceit, falsehood, and dishonesty, end quote, as well as a, quote, grave danger to the community, end quote.
I don't like that with his homeopathy thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great.
Yeah. It should be noted that one of their tenets was not using medications to treat illnesses.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Perfect. You know what I want my dentist and doctor to not believe in? Meds.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look for in a dentist, especially. Don't use meds for me. Just go ahead and knock all my teeth out, sir. That's great. Cool. Cool.
Yeah. One of Charles's first arrests.
Oh, God. That just. Okay.
Yep.
That needed a transition.
Yep. Was as a result of his religion. He was arrested in 1900 after one of his patients, a woman named Helen C. Brush, passed away from consumption or tuberculosis. Not only was Charles not licensed to treat that disease, but he also didn't report her infection to the Department of Health.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
That's huge.
Which was required by law and for a good reason.
Yeah, we need to know who's got it so we can save who's been exposed.
He felt that contagious diseases like consumption and smallpox were just a belief and not real.
So she's not really dead then?
She died of something, but it wasn't contagious
okay.
disease. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. She didn't have it, so she's not dead.
She's living forever. # Jesus saves. So
she's just really bloated on my chair. I don't know what's happening.
She's really gooey. I don't understand.
I don't know.
In an article published in the January 23rd, 1904 edition of The Sun, it noted in part, quote, the person who began 2 months ago a series of anonymous attacks on Mrs. Augusta E. Stetson, the real leader of the First Church of Christ Scientist, is Charles G. Pease, MD, DDS, a dentist and manufacturer of tooth powder at 72nd Street and Columbus Avenue. Dr. Pease is a member of the First Church himself, but he has not become sufficiently imbued with the notions of Mother Edie to believe that toothache is an error that requires prayer or absent treatment rather than pulling, and that a bad tooth should be filled with thought rather than gold.
I hate that. I hate that so much. I can't.
So he's like, you guys are wrong in saying that we can fix somebody's toothache by just praying. I know as a dentist that you need to treat it by either pulling it or filling the hole with gold. So he's thinking of the more human aspect, like we got to actually treat people, not pray it away.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought he was like the put your thought into it. Who
No.
puts a thought? How do you put a thought into a tooth? I
Yeah.
would like to know.
So the First Church of Christ scientists, they believe you can pray away toothaches and rotten teeth. It'll be fine.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, with all the respect in the world, that sounds insane. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Charles said, quote, "The Lord is directing me. I must work in the dark for the good of all. If my identity was revealed now, I would not be in a position to carry on my opposition to the arbitrary power of Mrs. Stetson. I must remain on the inside to do the Lord's work. I have a large following already, and our motto is truth without personality. That will be the slogan of the forces of truth forming to overthrow Mrs. Stetson." End quote.
I love this. So he thinks he's like infiltrating a cult, essentially.
Yes.
And he's
Yes.
going to be the big hero that
Mhm.
saves the day. He's vigilante justice. He's Robin Hood. He's the guy that can fix your teeth and your heart, but apparently not tuberculosis. So,
Yes. Yes.
all right. All right. Oh, main character energy never ends well.
Now here is the Cliff Notes version of who Augusta Emma Stetson is, for some context.
Okay.
She was a very charismatic woman who attracted a large following in New York City, attempting to take over as leader of the First Church of Christ scientists in place of Maker Barry Eady, who founded the church.
Okay.
So she started
She
her
was like,
own
I'm
branch.
the better one.
Yes.
I know this religion better than you, even though you made it up.
Yes. So the original church was in Boston, Massachusetts. And Mrs. Stetson was like, I am going to start another church in New York City. And I'm going to do it better in the hopes that people will see that I'm doing it better and I can take over the religion as the new leader. So
Again, what could go wrong? These
Yeah.
people are totally not megalomaniacs by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Starting their own religions. Cool.
And it was noted in a few places just how absurd and kind of power hungry she was. Like the church that she built was over $1 million.
That doesn't surprise me based on what you've said.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that if she wanted it to be successful and she wanted it to be like a total takeover in New York, she'd have to do something ostentatious to get that attention. Because, how many different religions existed in New York even then?
Yes.
Like, truly. How many different churches?
It came off very mega churchy in my research.
But like aggressive mega church. Like very much a screw you guys.
Yeah. And her rivalries within the church would eventually lead to her excommunication on charges of false teaching and insubordination.
Oh. That would be a better pill to swallow.
Yes.
Building all that church and stuff, and then you just get kicked out.
Yes. So that's kind of like
no.
who she is in a nutshell. So you can kind of understand why he is so against her. It says he's not necessarily against her as a person, but he's against what she stands for.
He knows that she's dangerous.
Yes.
Got it.
In an article published in the June 5th, 1905 edition of the Press and Sun Bulletin, detailing his exit from the church, it reads in part, quote, bitterly attacking the cult of which he was once an enthusiastic exponent. Dr. Charles G. Pease has resigned as a member of the First Church of Christ Scientists and also from the Mother Church in Boston. In a letter, he wrote to the pastor emeritus, clerk, and members of the First Mother Church of Christ Scientists, Boston, Massachusetts, dangerous, wicked, cruel, unchristian teaching, acts, and methods prevail within the Christian Science organization. These have the appearance of being fostered by the highest authorities in the organization, in that with full knowledge, these conditions have the support and consent of silence. And whereas I find that these acts and methods are the legitimate outcome of the fundamental teachings presented in Science and Health, therefore, because of the conditions and the teachings which admit of the conditions, I ask that my name be stricken from the membership roll of the church. I am, in the service of God and men, Charles G. Pease. End quote.
I don't want to be recognized. I don't want to take credit for this, but I'm taking credit for it.
He's like, I don't want anything to do with you guys. You guys suck.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to totally tell everybody else that you suck too.
And he does just that because
yeah, I'm sure he does.
Following his break from the church, he would go on to publish several books maligning the church and its fraudulent practices, including, quote, Divine Power, or Spiritual Interpretation of the Scriptures, end quote, in 1904, and, quote, Expose of Christian Science Methods and Teaching Prevailing in the First Church, CS, New York City, end quote, in 1905.
I bet he felt really good about that, too.
I'm sure he did. And it's unclear to me when exactly he became vocal about it, but Charles became an extremely vocal anti-smoking and anti-tobacco activist throughout his life.
That's insane. Like, good on him, right? Because I'm sure part of it was he was a dentist and probably saw the utter devastation that literally any form of tobacco, especially at that time, could have put on your mouth. I mean, like holes in your skin. Like, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But that's bold of him. Again, like going back, that's going against another more terrifying opponent, I would say.
In an August 1907 edition of the New York Times, they noted that they had previously printed a letter he had written to the paper, in which, quote, he exultingly announced that no man who used tobacco would be allowed to work on the new building about to be erected for the Young Men's Christian Association in Philadelphia, end quote. They also printed that, quote, he proceeded to slang-wang that fragrant weed as a curse to humanity and all who use it as filthy ruffians, deserving of exclusion from decent society, end quote.
You know, that's not the best way to get people on your side.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, letters to the editor are always nothing if not so soft and warm and fuzzy with careful language.
According to the General Secretary of the YMCA of Philadelphia, quote, there is no truth in the report, end quote. The article continued, quote, it doesn't, of course, prove him wrong in holding tobacco a naughty, naughty vegetable. It doesn't even prove him wrong in scorning all who use it as not a little worse than the wicked. But it does prove him to be a man of decidedly rash and impetuous nature, able to believe and to promulgate as true any cock and bull story which to his queer and queering vision looks like a good text for a passionate diatribe against tobacco and the consumers thereof, end quote.
Cool. Not the best look for him, I would say.
Between April 24th, 1909, when Charles made his first citizen's arrest at 72nd Street Subway in New York City,
Stop.
Up until the age of 83, Charles conducted several citizens' arrests against smokers in public places.
I can't decide if I love him or hate him for this. Like, he's that guy.
Yep.
But also, he's that guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Charles formed the Non-Smoking Protective League in 1910 in an effort to promote legislation against smoking in, quote, public and semi-public places, end quote, such as elevated trains and subways. He based his anti-smoking stance on religious as well as ethical principles as a medical professional. In fact, the following year, in 1911, he argued that the odors and fumes produced from smoking violated people's constitutional rights.
I mean, I don't like being surrounded by tobacco smoke all the time, so okay. But violating my constitutional rights, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
He needs to pivot. He needs to pivot his argument.
In an article published in the April 20th, 1911 edition of the Brooklyn Eagle, his extreme disdain for tobacco was called out in a piece titled, quote, "Glad Mr. Pease resigned," end quote. In it, the president of the International Art Society of New York, Mrs. J. Christopher Marks, shared how Charles resigned from the society after a 12-year-old girl named Aline McMahon of Brooklyn recited a poem by James Whitcomb Riley titled, quote, "An Old Sweetheart of Mine," end quote. Mr. Pease was quoted as saying, quote, "In this poem, the opium of the West, tobacco, was presented in a voluptuous and seductive way, in my opinion, not fit even for a fourth-rate concert hall exclusively for adults, but when presented by a precocious child before children, some of very tender years, it constitutes a crime against the human family," end quote.
He seems like a really pleasant person to be around. Oh my god. I agree with tobacco bad, but not with anything else, I think.
Yeah. And just because I was curious, here is the stanza in the poem that he found so offensive.
Oh god.
Quote, "The lamplight seems to glimmer with a flicker of surprise, as I turn it low to rest me of the dazzle in my eyes, and light my pipe in silence, save a sigh that seems to yoke its fate with my tobacco, and to vanish with the smoke," end quote. And the poem, is essentially this man kind of going down memory lane, thinking about his sweetheart, who he actually married. So he's having this, yeah.
It was painting a picture of the memories fading.
Yeah.
And the smoke. I get it.
Yeah.
Way to make a 12-year-old girl cry. Reciting a poem she doesn't understand.
And I don't know if he actually made her cry or not. And the article included a picture of her, and she's posing as a ballerina essentially in this picture. But
that would have been so embarrassing for her.
No kidding.
No, it's so awful. This angry old man shaming her for doing probably what's the poem somebody chose for her.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that kills me is that this is back when they would print people's addresses, where they lived.
Yeah.
So
they could harass the girl.
Yeah. Charles championed for several causes, not just anti-smoking. He was also a vocal protester of capital punishment, vaccination, and corsets, which I appreciate. But his more extreme protests revolved around the ingestion of meat, coffee, cocoa, tea, and sugary drinks.
He was straight edge before straight edge was a thing.
Yes, he's a teetotaler. In a write-up from 1913 by Nixola Greeley Smith, she had this to say about Charles. Quote, "In other words, Mr. Smoker and Madame Smoker, you are just a sort of typhoid Mary, going around poisoning the populace while apparently immune to the toxic effects yourself. But you're not immune. Not at all. Don't comfort yourself that way. Moreover, don't imagine that this Dr. Pease, who detests you so, is anything like what you imagine him to be. He is mild-mannered. When he converses on any other subject than smoking, He looks as if he belonged to the second generation of a family of bankers, end quote. I don't know what
He
that
looks nice
means.
until he opens his mouth.
Until he's like, let me tell you about smoking. Charles himself was quoted in the article as saying the following about smokers. Quote, when the smoker passes into the other life, his craving for tobacco will continue, but he will not have the ability to gratify it. He will have a special hell of his own, which will be a mixture of craving for tobacco and remorse for his indulgence in a habit which poisoned him and his fellow men, end quote.
So all people who smoke tobacco just hang out in purgatory forever,
Yes.
watching other people smoke for the rest of their lives. Well,
Tobacco
their life.
purgatory.
Nice. It'd be funny if it just smelled like tobacco and they couldn't find it.
Yeah. In the March 24th, 1915 edition of the Winchester Sun, it published the declarations of the Non-Smokers Protective League of America, which are as follows. Quote, first, that the right of every person to breathe and enjoy fresh and pure air, uncontaminated by unhealthful or disagreeable odors and fumes, is one of the inalienable rights guaranteed by the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and laws of the land. Second, that tobacco smoking in public and semi-public places is a direct and positive invasion of this right, that it is dangerous to public health and comfort, offensive and annoying to individuals, and an intolerable evil in itself, end quote.
Okay, cool. So, air quality. How about the Industrial Revolution? And all of that we don't care about, but tobacco, get it out. Get it out of my clean, smoky, toxic air full of arsenic and other
and asbestos,
horrific...
yes.
Yes. So much asbestos. It's so pretty.
Snow.
Asbestos snow is so pretty.
It also included the pledge that members of the League agreed to, which read in part, quote, first, to encourage and insist in the enforcement of all public laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations prohibiting or restricting tobacco smoking in public and semi-public places, and to secure the enactment of any other laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations which may be or become necessary for such purpose, and to cooperate with boards of health, police officers, and all executive and administrative officials and departments to secure full and effective enforcement thereof. Second, to secure the cooperation of all persons in control of building halls, elevators, hotels, restaurants, theaters, streetcars, railway cars, sleeping cars, dining cars, and other places provided for the use of the general public, to prohibit tobacco smoking therein, or to so limit and restrict it that only those who may indulge the habit will be required to inhale tobacco fumes. Third, to create a wholesome public opinion and to encourage individuals whose rights and comfort are disregarded by tobacco users to insist upon proper respect for such rights and to protect the same from invasion to the fullest extent guaranteed by the Constitution and laws of the land, end quote.
Citizen's arrest kind of a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all. To me, that's just, it's kind of, it feels like the start of like the neighborhood watch or something, almost.
Like vigilante justice, kind of?
Kind of. Yeah, like organized.
Without being violent.
Yeah. Kind of like all the other ones that were happening at the time with like like people who were really against alcohol. And I feel like these organizations kind of popped up a lot during this time.
Yes. Charles traveled to Los Angeles for a lecture in August of 1915 and was interviewed for the Morning Tribune by Grace Wilcox. And here's a snippet of the interview. Quote, at the Hotel Alexandria yesterday, he told me of his adventures in a quote-unquote smoking world. With the gentle, kindly manner, Dr. Pease, a courtly gentleman of the old school, said, quote, smoking is one of the most difficult evils to fight, because the habit has been minimized so completely that the young men and boys of our country are taught that if they do not smoke, they are Nancys or namby-pambies, continued Dr. Pease.
He's not wrong.
He isn't.
He really isn't wrong.
It is the right of every person to breathe and enjoy fresh and pure air, uncontaminated by unhealthful or disagreeable odors and fumes. Tobacco smoking in public and semi-public places is a direct and positive invasion of this right. The day is coming when tobacco will be pronounced an unmitigated evil, and those who indulge in it will be held up to scorn and be gazed at with contempt by all decent persons. End quote. Dr. Pease has quietly and effectively given his best efforts to fighting the tobacco habit in every form, and that his endeavors have not proved in vain is evidenced by the fact that the Non-Smokers Protective League of America is today an exceedingly strong organization, headed by such men as Bert G. Wilder of Cornell University, Harvey W. Wiley, president of the American Therapeutical Society, Jenkin Lloyd Jones, pastor of All Souls Church, Chicago, David Starr Jordan, Stanford University, Winfield S. Hall, Northwestern University, Honorable William H. Douglas, New York, and a score or more other men of national reputation. End quote.
I disagree with the whole quiet part, but
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Really hasn't been quiet.
No, he has
this
not.
entire time.
Mm-mm.
Anything but.
Yeah. An August edition of the Los Angeles Times noted that he was having another talk at the First Methodist Church. In the article, a woman named Mrs. Sobieski, who was a member of the group that invited him to speak, shared, quote, "It is high time that Christian workers and non-smokers should rise in revulsion against conditions which force us to inhale smoke from the mouths of those who enjoy the weed. We are a nation poisoned with nicotine. We have been tamely inhaling the poison flung upon the breeze by reckless users of tobacco. Tobacco smoke is injurious to heart, lungs, and nerves. There are certain brands of cigars and cigarettes that contain not only nicotine poison, but other deadly drugs which make fiends and criminals out of young men, cutting short their lives 20 to 30 years. End quote.
I mean, not all of it's a lie.
Mm-mm.
But that probably would have been woo-woo science at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of money fighting against it.
In big tobacco? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The general public found ways to let Charles know what they thought of his ideals.
Oh, great. He's been pushed downstairs several times.
He's now the glass man. His bones have been broken so many times.
He's used his own tooth powder to build his bones back up.
He drinks nothing but milk. As noted in a December 1915 edition of the New York Tribune, it was reported that he has become the recipient of several practical jokes, such as when 2 caskets on different wagons were brought to his home, with the driver stating that they had been ordered for, quote, Dr. Charles G. Pease, end quote.
That's messed up. I really hate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a joke. That's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened more than once?
Yep.
Cool.
He also shared that he regularly receives phone calls, even as early as 3 or 4 a.m., which he takes on the chance that it is a patient calling needing his assistance.
Right,
So,
because he's still a doctor.
Yep. And they didn't have call screening back then. A 1928 newspaper article poked fun at Charles with a piece titled, quote, "My Lady Nicotine Just Smiles," end quote. In it, it said in part, quote, "Of the Non-Smokers Protective League, of which Dr. Pease is president, an inner circle was formed in 1913, the members of which pledged themselves not to drink tea, coffee, or cocoa. The interrelation of whiskey, tobacco, and all other nerve calmers is understood by most reformers. 2 gems of the Pease collection are these. The degenerate is an outcome of the tobacco habit, and opium is not so bad as cigarettes," end quote. I would disagree.
I mean, it's not great.
No.
It's definitely not great.
Mm-mm.
And it's just as debilitating.
Yep. Ideally, Charles wanted to abolish smoking altogether. In fact, in an article in the September 27th, 1928 edition of the Brooklyn Eagle, it's noted that he demanded the health department prohibit smoking in streets and all public places. In response, Commissioner Wynne was noted as replying, quote, "To prohibit smoking would not only be a curtailment of a personal liberty, but would inevitably lead to the same result as the prohibition of liquor, which is to say that it would only increase smoking," end quote. Charles continued to ramp up his published works in the 1930s, such as his book The Smoking Rector in 1936, as well as several pamphlets about the effects of tobacco and flesh eating, as well as several academic papers in medical and dental journals. So eating meat.
I know, but
yeah,
he did that on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. Flesh eating. Weed smoking and flesh eating.
Yes.
Got it. Cool.
By 1934, he had retired from the practice of dentistry and medicine at the age of 80.
Thank you for that, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, I know dentists tend to practice a little longer than most doctors, but
Yep.
You can stop. It's okay.
Yes. Charles spoke out against the slaughter of animals for human consumption on his 85th birthday, when he was quoted as stating, quote, "The dear chickens, how they scream and struggle in their effort to break away from the hands of the assassin. If it were right to kill chickens, there would be no expression of fear on the part of the chicken," end quote. The following year, Charles was invited as an honorary guest to the New York Vegetarian Society's annual Thanksgiving dinner.
What'd they eat at the time?
I have no idea. Jell-O? Was Jell-O a thing in the 1930s?
It had gelatin in it, though.
Oh, yeah. It's got, like, ground up horse hooves in it.
Yeah.
Just fruits and vegetables, I guess? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I'm sure it was very fancy and opulent.
Yep. Charles passed away on October 7th, 1941, at the age of 86 in Manhattan, New York. Dang. Funeral services were conducted on October 10th at the Walter B. Cook Funeral Chapel by Commissioner Alexander M. Damon, the Eastern Territorial Commander of the Salvation Army. Interestingly, he is not buried in the same cemetery as his wives, but instead at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx in a mausoleum.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. He put his wives in the ground and he got the nice apartment in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so dirty.
I know. He did them so dirty.
Wow. Okay.
In an article written in the United States Tobacco Journal after his death, in the October 11th, 1941 edition, it noted in part the following. Quote, "An elegant male counterpart of Carrie Nation, who wielded a figurative axe against the unyielding bulwark of the tobacco interests for half a century, Dr. Pease achieved two triumphs: the passage in 1909 of an ordinance forbidding smoking in the subways, and 32 lines in Who's Who in America under the heading Peace, Charles Giffen, Reformer." Besides tobacco, Dr. Pease was against virtually every ordinary beverage, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, including ginger ale, meat, chocolates and chocolate ice cream sodas, vinegar, lollipops, corsets, vaccination, toxin, antitoxin, a wide variety of drugs, capital punishment, and Tammany Hall.
Wait, what's the last one?
Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall was essentially where a lot of the big players in New York City would decide kind of what politically they wanted to pass.
Got it. So it was kind of where big tobacco would live,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. It just seemed like a left field thing to be against. So I just wanted to ask. It's like, and that building.
So it was it was a place where, depending on where it fell within history, was perceived negatively for a long time, because that's kind of where, like, the gangsters
Seedy
of New
stuff.
York and seedy people would kind of pull the strings behind the scenes to get
Got it.
their political parties to fund and approve certain things and ignore
Mm.
others. So, like, one thing that happened with Tammany Hall was when they tried to improve conditions in, like, factories, like shirtwaist factories. They were very against that and would only approve a certain amount of things. And then it wasn't until after the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire that they were like, fuck,
Fine.
now we gotta be good political people, because the
Mhm.
public is going to
Died.
kill us if we don't. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's an example of a very rough example of Tammany Hall.
Got it. I mean, sounds like something normal to be against.
Yeah. Not out of
Mm.
left field, we'll just say that.
No, definitely not, considering like all of his other missions.
Yes. Dr. Peace's sole major victory came early in his singular career when, despite his ignorance of the intricacies of the law, he bested George Gordon Battle, counsel for the tobacco industry, on his own ground, and made it against the law to smoke in subway trains.
Mm-hmm.
Absent-minded men who had gone down into the subway with cigars, cigarettes, or pipes dangling lighted from their lips would be struck speechless when an elderly gentleman with snow-white hair, mustache, and goatee, and a general air of benignity would sidle up to them, knock the smoking apparatus from their mouths with a sweep of his arm, and haul them off to the nearest station house.
I love that.
The lone crusader made the mistake of taking this summary action against Milton P. Jackson, deputy surveyor of the Port of New York, on April 3rd, 1914.
Oh no. And I bet he just did not care at all, too.
And was subjected to a dressing down by former magistrate Charles W. Appleton for his pains. End quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be until 1965 when the first widespread anti-smoking law would be put into place with the passing of the Federal Cigarette Labeling and Advertising Act of 1965, which required health warnings on cigarette packages. 4 years later, in 1969, the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act was passed that banned ads for cigarettes on the radio and on TV. 1973 saw Arizona become the first state to introduce smoke-free public places.
Wow. That's really impressive. I didn't
Mhm.
realize they were such early adopters of that.
Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't be until 1990 that San Luis Obispo, California, would become the first city worldwide to adopt smoking restrictions indoors in all public places, including bars and restaurants.
Dang.
But even today, there are still 12 states that allow smoking in workplaces, bars, or restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean,
believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the story of Charles Giffen Peace and his...
Very strange life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very interesting character.
Yeah. Like, I just can't decide if I like him or not.
Like, I feel like he was extremist in how he went about fighting it, but at the same time, I appreciate his passion and the fact that he came from it to some degree from, like, a medical standpoint.
Yeah.
He cared about your health.
He had all the right arguments. He had all the right backing. It's just his delivery was never quite right.
It wasn't the right messaging. Telling people that they're essentially like
idiots,
sinners and
poor,
evil.
Poor lame.
Yeah, and like evil and
Dregs of
dastardly
the earth.
yeah,
Shaming a 12-year-old girl.
for reading a poem that included 4 words that had to do with smoking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like
some of
that
his
stuff,
methods weren't
you
great.
know?
Yeah.
Like I can appreciate him and what he was trying to do,
Mhm.
especially since, I'm sure at the time, like I I cannot imagine living in a time like that where
Mhm.
the air would be that bad
Mhm.
constantly, where like just getting rid of tobacco smoke would make it so much better.
Yep.
Like it's hard to fathom
Mhm.
how those conditions would be. So I do respect him in that way. But yeah, I really disrespect the shaming people with in publications. I
Yeah.
will never be okay with that. I hate it. Like
Yeah.
there's a way of calling something out, and more often than not, if you put it to paper, it's very rarely done well.
Yeah.
It can be done. It's
But
rare that
yeah.
it's done well.
Well, and like I remember when smoking sections were still a
I do
thing.
too.
Like up
Yeah.
until
The 2000s.
the mid aughts. Like I
Yeah.
remember working at a restaurant where there was a smoking section. I remember
Hmm.
in college going to Perkins and there was a smoking section.
Yeah. I actually remember one of the Perkins that was still fighting it.
Mhm.
Like the law had already flipped and they were still keeping their smoking section for a period of time. And it was weird because we had, like, the law had changed and it went into effect where we lived. And then we went into this Perkins and they were still smoking. And it was so jarring
Mhm.
after a while of like, oh, gross. Like it
Yep.
was kind of weird how people were super upset about it. And then when the flip happened, everybody was like, okay. For the
Yeah.
most part, like where we
Yeah.
were, everybody was like, it might be nice to not have to repaint everything.
Yeah.
And just the general cleanliness of
Yeah.
everything improved.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that. It's weird to think that we lived through that,
Yep.
but yeah.
We wouldn't be here without support from listeners like you. If you're interested in supporting us financially, you can leave a one-time or monthly donation over on Buy Me a Coffee or our Venmo page. Links are in the show notes. And we make a point of reaching out to send you a thank you note and stickers to show our appreciation.
Want to show your support in a more concrete way? Pick up some Yield Crime merch over at our TeePublic shop. We shout out whenever there is a sale each month, and we work to make sure we're creating new designs and changing it up whenever possible. And hey, thanks for listening.
We have a listener question from Carrie Ann, and she
Mhm.
would like to know, have there been any museums where it made you say nope, nope, nope at any exhibits?
Yeah, I went to the Museum of Murder, I think.
The Death Museum?
The Death Museum in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it. I thought it would be really interesting and I thought I could get into it, but it was a lot
Mm-hmm.
in general. Like I had a really hard time. I'm trying to think of like any exhibit in particular. I mean, there was one that was pretty gnarly there was a couple that had murdered. They were drug addicts and they murdered her ex-boyfriend. He was like hopelessly still in love with her and they
Mm.
wanted to like steal money from him for drugs and stuff, so they murdered him, but then they like kept his body and like cut off his penis and stuff and like took pictures with it, and
Mm.
they got the pictures developed at like a CVS or
Oh,
something, and that's how they got caught.
God.
And I was just like, that one in particular, I was like, could you just imagine being the poor worker at that like photo place? You're probably making like what,
Like
three,
$5 an
five
hour.
dollars an hour, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that
And you're
and
like,
now it's your responsibility to
cool.
call 911
Yep.
and like hope that you don't get murdered for saying that.
Yep. For calling the police.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah. Well, and then that whole day was really eerie too, because right after that, actually on our way home, somebody had jumped off a bridge on the way home, and the road was close to the Death Museum. So it was an all around bad day. It was just it was a really bad day.
Yeah.
So that's mine. How about you?
Yeah. I feel like, and this could be a fever dream, but I'm pretty sure I went to one of like the Body Works exhibits.
You did. You did. I
did.
was envious because I wanted to go, but I was working at the hospital at the time, and I couldn't get time off work to go with you.
Like, it was interesting, but at the same time, I was like, this is really gross because these used to be people.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you know that they donated their bodies to it, but it's a different thing when you see a spine or like
or like the
somebody
entire,
reduced to just nerves.
I was just gonna say, like the entire nervous system. So like
That's a hard one.
knowing that somebody painstakingly
Cut that out of a body.
took you apart to save every single nerve to show just how many there are in the human body. Like that was rough. And I had a really hard time with the ones where it was like a section where, you know, like they cut somebody in
You
half
could still
essentially so you could see. Yeah, and you could like see part of their face. Like that, I had a hard time with that too. Like,
yeah. Like you get like I understand why we do it and why that needs to exist. But it's also okay if you don't have the stomach for it or the personality to handle that. Because I had a hard time working at the hospital. Like there were certain days where I was just like, oh God, like I can't be here.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe part of why I felt like it was kind of a fever dream is because maybe I like mentally blocked some of it out because it was so like traumatizing.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, like if you're not really ready to see that, and how would you prepare yourself for that? Because it just sounds like a cool new exhibit. It's a tough topic. Like it's a really tough topic because, you know, when people donate their bodies, you never know where they end up. And sometimes when people donate their bodies too, their families don't agree, and it's a tough subject. I'm gonna become a tree.
Me too.
Yay!
So yeah,
my body's too sick for anything. They don't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they just want to poke at my diabetes, I don't know.
I just feel like, you know, I would love to donate something, but I just feel I don't think anything I have would be worth donating to anybody.
Oh, nothing's viable for me. I can't save it. Like they're not going to want my tainted sugar blood organs unless it were to be a lesson or something. I would quite literally be used for experimentation, I would assume.
I don't think anybody would want a piece of me, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe something I have is viable and someone would want it, but I sincerely doubt it.
I mean, if they want to take my islet cells after they cure diabetes and be like, look at what this looked like, sure. But I'm still going to be a tree, all right? So
Yep.
Just make sure you do that, and it's whatever.
Cremate whatever's left if you take something.
Yeah.
Want to be social with us? You can see pics from this week's episode, bonus content, and funny memes on X at Ye Olde Crime Pod, or on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube at Ye Olde Crime Podcast.
Speaking of YouTube, we have a special playlist just for our Can You Crack the Cramp Word segments with our guest podcasters to see who can correctly guess the meaning of some obscure Victorian slang terms. If that's your thing, check it out.
On that subject,
on that note,
what's something good you'd like to share?
It's a little bit bittersweet. she was with us for the majority of the summer, and then she had to go back to her mom's house for school because her school is over an hour away from our house. So we had a really awesome day with her mom's family too. We're really close with them. So we spent the whole day with them, and it was really great, but going home without her sucked hard.
Yeah.
But we'll see her again, like
Yeah.
it's just it was hard. But we had a really good time. So that's my something good. How about you?
We haven't done it yet. We are going to the Renaissance Festival with the girls.
Aw, that will be a good thing for you. You love the Renaissance Festival.
I do, and we have not been since my youngest was
In
3.
a decade? Yeah.
So almost a decade. Yeah.
Yep. I remember going there with you
Mm-hmm.
when she was 3.
And we were looking at the list of the food that they have for purchase there, and I was like, oh my god, I could eat like half of these things. They sound so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shall we?
Let's do it.
We love to hear from you, and there's a couple of ways you can reach out to us. You can email us at yeoldecrimepodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us story ideas, share any spooky stories you may have, fun gifts, or even just to say hello.
You can also reach out to us via snail mail. Remember mail? Our mailing address is Ye Olde Crime Podcast, P.O. Box 341, Wyoming, Minnesota 55092. Fun fact, we like to send out thank you cards with fun stickers you can't get at our shop, so it's worth the cost of a stamp.
And on that note, as always, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Madison.
And we'll see you next time with another tale
As old as crime.